This is my alternative way of looking into power dynamic games and why becoming useless, forgetting about their respect, might be actually the best option. So we're taught that you have to be a high value woman where you act wise, you play those manipulative games because otherwise people don't understand how to respect you. And so if you want to receive things in life, you have to master those games. But the thing is, let's look firstly into respect. If a person is capable of respecting you, they will be respecting you no matter what. You don't have to have additional skills, anything, to prove them that able to receive respect from them. But if a person is not ready to respect you, they won't. And they may play those manipulative tactics and games no matter what. None of your behavior will actually make them respect you. And what you have to understand, yes, sometimes they may change their behavior, but the only reason why they're changing this behavior because they want to have access to you. And at some point, they may realize that they have to treat you good to have access to you. But the thing is, the moment you become vulnerable, this respect disappears because initially it wasn't respect. They just knew that they have to play this specific game, so you will accept them into your life. They will just want to have access to you, and you have to understand this difference. It's much better to understand it from the beginning so you can actually remove people who are not respecting you, because you cannot get rid of vulnerability in your life. And the moment you get vulnerable, you want to have around people who are respecting you and willing to take care of you, right? And another interesting idea that there's also lots of manipulative people who are doing that not because they're like huge villains, they're insecure potentially, and they just want to have attention. And sometimes they play those power dynamics because they learn it somewhere on the internet and they're like, I probably have to do that and probably they're never gonna leave me. And sometimes one of the best things to actually go through those power dynamic games is to become a chaser. Because everyone says, oh, don't be a chaser. You have to respect yourself. But the thing is, if a person is really not respecting you, nothing will change. But if you want to have emotional detachment, this tactic might be a better thing. So, in this idea, you chase a person, but you become useless to them. So you say compliments, you text them, you send them reels, you ask how they're doing, but you never initiate any dates, you never offer yourself in terms of any usefulness from you. And then, at some point, they may even distance themselves because if a person was taught those games, they know exactly that if a person is attaching, you have to become cold and distant. And they will give you like this cold treatment for like a month or something. If a person is just naturally manipulative, probably they will have other people in their life who they're also trying to manipulate. So it's going to happen naturally. And the moment they kind of distance themselves, that's the point where you start to focus on your life, on yourself, on other people, and everything, so you can emotionally detach from this person. Because what I see is that there's a lot of videos stating that, oh, you have to block a manipulator straight away the moment you become disrespected. But sometimes people do not disrespect you in the beginning. They might act extremely kind and nice in the beginning. And at some point, when you realize that you've been manipulated, it's going to be too late to block. Because the moment you block someone, they may start even manipulate like more. They will give more manipulative tactics. They will bring other people to the story. They will use social media. They may even stalk you. You don't want this. That's why we are acting stupid, we're chasing and playing this game all alone until they distance themselves. Then we can remove ourselves emotionally, especially if we got attached to this person. And by the moment they come back to us to check whenever we are still attached, we're really not. We're not there. And also an interesting point is that we're also taught that, oh, be wise, don't express your emotion if a person is disrespected you. Like, they don't have access to your emotions. Don't say how they hurt you. But the thing is, if you actually can block a person and go away and never replay this story in your head again, totally fine, do that. But if you realize that the moment you block them, you will be replaying the situation all over again, you have lots of emotions and you wish you have told them directly into their face. Or you will start replaying those conversations with your friends. That's not being wise. That means that you're not expressing your emotions and you are not letting yourself be as a person. This might not be a best thing because if you send this 3 a.m. huge paragraph, not stating how bad they are, but how badly they treated you, that's a huge difference. You cannot say bad things to people, especially if we're talking about manipulators and all stuff. So if at 3 a.m. you're sending this message where you say exactly how they treated you badly, how you felt after this, first of all, you will get rid of those emotions, and sometimes it's even easier for you to forget about this person. Secondly, remember about the autoimmune disease, because 20 years later, when you will have to treat yourself from autoimmune disease, you won't remember about this person who actually was manipulating you and disrespected you and thinking, oh, I'm so happy, but I respected myself and never told them how I felt about all this situation. You will be thinking, why did not I state what I didn't like that, or I did not express my anger and my emotions because now I'm having the autoimmune disease. You don't want that, right? It's extremely important to express your emotions. And also, another point is that a lot of manipulators, they have several people being manipulated at the same time. And the thing is, no one tells them that their behavior is awful. And I'm not stating that if you tell them that their behavior is awful, they will change their behavior. But a lot of manipulators extremely, like, they genuinely feel and assume that they're kind and nice people, and they're just manipulating some bad thing. But the more people will be claiming to them that, oh, your behavior is awful, it's not gonna change their behavior in terms of, oh, I actually have to change as a person. It will shaken their perception of themselves in their head because they no longer is able to construct that, oh, I'm actually a good person, I'm doing right. Because I had 5 people who are not connected with each other stating me the same information that I'm behaving awful. It might not change much, but it might definitely irritate them for a long time, and they will be the one who will be replaying those conversations and those texts after some time. And the best moment to do that is when you're already emotionally detached. And basically, you may prepare this message before when you're trying to like emotionally detach throughout this month of coldness, and then send it to them right after when you're already emotionally detached. And that does not mean that you start to engage in the conversation, because they might say they're sorry and let's try again. No, you're not engaging in that. You're just sending, expressing those emotions, and then go straight away. But this expression might help you to solve your internal work. And also, if you will start to think more about being crazy in their eyes and not being respected, you should forget about it, because the person cannot respect you in the first place. Why do you even bother being respected by them? Why you putting their respect above your emotional stability? If it's for you emotionally much better to send this 3 a.m. long paragraph and becoming crazy in their eyes, it is much better rather than being emotionally mature and being respected. Because what you gonna do with this respect from them? You firstly might even not know them. Secondly, why do you even want to have respect from this person? Why don't you care about yourself that much that this respect is actually above this situation? And the moment you let yourself be disrespected and let yourself be crazy in other people's situations, it will be much easier for you to actually get detached from those situations, because you will just say nonsense and then go away and focus on your life and actually change your behavior. At some point, you will realize that you have spent lots of times on understanding other people, on those power dynamics, because you will like, oh, I can do that. I have to do that because power dynamic games is so important. And for example, I won't answer them for 2 weeks because they disrespected me, but I will be staying for 2 weeks around my phone because I will be waiting for them to text me, but they never texted me, and I will be miserable throughout the whole 2 weeks. That's not power dynamic. That's a miserable situation. And lots of the times we see with both power dynamics is that people are playing that they have to be respected and all those wise things because internally they cannot cope with their emotions. Because a person who's actually powerful, they don't care about other people in terms of being disrespected and all those power dynamic games. Because if they don't want to, they're not engaging. If they got attached, they're detaching if they understand that this person is not right for them. They're not trying to persuade our person to respect them or to like them because they don't have time for that. And the moment you realize that if you play those power dynamics games, a few years later, you may realize that you actually spend so much time on those power dynamics instead of focusing on yourself, on your career, on your skills. You won't even remember about those people 10 years after. But you will definitely remember if your salary is high, but you have worked so hard when you were younger. That's where you have to focus, not those power dynamics. And the moment you realize that it's not even worth your time, you might change this perspective. And sometimes, like the whole idea that sometimes it's much easier to become a chaser, to be disrespected and all this stuff for the sake of your emotional stability and then go and do your own things rather than trying to persuade other people to respect you and have these power games. Because yes, at some point you may win those power games, but the person who is manipulating you will try to remove you from this because they don't want you to win. They will try to pull you down every time. And there's going to be a circle every time because you will be pulling them down, they will be pulling you down, and you're just wasting your time. So sometimes playing dumb, being disrespected, and being a chaser might actually save you some time in life. And what is most important, that you will respect yourself more than other people. And also important thing is that when you stand up for yourself and actually express what you didn't like from behavior of those people, right? You may even start to respect yourself more because you stand up for yourself. You didn't get quiet. You actually stand up for yourself. And that's what boosts the confidence. Not being silent and playing all those silent treatment games. Because sometimes you can even see when a person is trying to play those power dynamic games and they do not respect themselves. And the moment anyone gets close access to them, they see that they do not have any boundaries. But they have a huge three boundaries on the outside of them. And it's much more dangerous than being crazy and being disrespected at some point, but have this inner respect to stand up for yourself and actually express your emotions and being able to let go. Because the moment you let go of those people who are playing those manipulative tactics and power dynamics things, you will have an ability to give time to people who are willing to connect with you, who are willing to have deep connections, who are not willing to play games with you, and who are willing to respect you. But it's only possible if you spare this time from those manipulative people, stay a bit in the isolation so you kind of can change the behavior, and then get access to people who are actually willing to respect you no matter what. And it's your responsibility to choose how you want to behave, because I'm not the one telling you, oh, you can play games. If you wish, if it entertains you and you love them, do them. But if you're tired of them and you keep hearing that if you're not playing games, you're not enough and it's not a great thing because everyone will just get over you. No. Because the moment you let yourself control your whole life and being ready to remove other people from your life, maybe not simultaneously, and you will play a chaser for a bit, but when you're ready to remove people from your life genuinely, without these power dynamic games, you won't be disrespected much. Because even if you will be disrespected for a bit, you will just remove this person and you will have other people around you. So being disrespected once does not mean you're a bad person or you're weak or something else. Some people are just not ready to respect. And your responsibility here is after the first disrespect to go away and plan how you can go away. Sometimes you need to go be a chaser and then go away. Sometimes you can go away straight away. Depends on the situation. So I wouldn't bother that you have to use specific tactics. Sometimes probably power dynamic games might be a better options where you have those people at work and you cannot do anything to that. But more or less, you just have to choose and don't be afraid to be disrespected. And don't be afraid to be a chaser if it's for the sake of having your emotional stability. That's probably the main idea of this video.